my name is Kate Armstrong, and I am one of the leads for the Manage Your Money program at Enactus St. Lawrence College in Kingston, Ontario. Today, we're going to be discussing the importance of getting a post-secondary education, furthering your education, and the implications it will have to your future. Today, we will be reviewing some activities, discussing the barriers that you may face getting to post-secondary education, and discussing some personal stories. The poverty line is the minimum level of income that has been deemed adequate to survive in a particular area. It is calculated taking all of the cost of essential resources that you would consume in a year, and is calculated for one person, two people, three people, or for a family of four. Because of this, the poverty line varies from area to area. So in a larger community where cost of living is higher, the poverty line will also be higher. And in a smaller rural community, the poverty line will also be lower. I would like you to keep those two things in mind as we go through some activities. For the first activity, we're going to go through a scenario based on education, number of children, and living arrangements for a family of four. For the first family, we have 2 adults and 2 children. They live in a city of approximately 600,000 people, where the poverty line for a family of 4 is $36,504. The first adult is a veterinary technician who makes approximately $69,000 a year. The second adult is a chef at a local restaurant who makes $31,000 a year. So in total, their gross household income is approximately $100,000 a year. The family owns their 3-bedroom house, and their mortgage costs approximately $7,262 per year. As well, we can estimate that because this family makes more than $65,000, they're going to spend more on their children's basic needs. So we can estimate that the children will cost approximately $29,315 per year. So if we add up all of their basic expenses and deduct them from their gross income, the family is left with $63,423 per year, or $5,285 a month. So with that $5,000, the family will now be able to pay for their heat, their hydro, their phone, utilities, as well as any transportation, their family's food, and extracurricular activities for their children. It's important to remember that all of these figures are gross incomes, so no taxes have been deducted. This family is way above the poverty line, mainly because of their post-secondary education. In this second scenario, we are still looking at a family of 4 in the same area with a poverty line of $36,000. The first adult did not get any post-secondary education and is currently working at minimum wage of $11 an hour. This individual makes $20,130 per year for 50 weeks. Their partner did get some education and is currently a carpenter, making $31,000 per year. The family's gross income is approximately $51,130. This family rents their 3-bedroom house, and their rent costs equal $11,829 per year. Because this family makes less than $65,000 a year, we can assume that the cost to pay for their children's basic needs would be $20,054. So if we add up all of their expenses and deduct this from their income, this family is left with $19,247 per year, or $1,600 per month, to pay for their heat, their utilities, their electricity, their food, as well as any other extras for their children. So the main difference between these two scenarios is post-secondary. The veterinary technician, the chef, and the carpenter would have all needed to have some sort of post-secondary education. But a lot of individuals think that post-secondary just isn't for them, or that it's not achievable. So next we're going to discuss some barriers that many people face when they're thinking about post-secondary or when they're first starting at post-secondary. So the first barrier is motivation. You or your family should be your only motivation, as well as the goals you would like for your future. Would you like a house? Would you like to have children? Would you like to have boats and toys and things to play with? Well, that should be your motivation for wanting to better your life. The second barrier is that you may be a first-generation student. This means that neither of your parents attended post-secondary. But this doesn't mean that your parents can't still help you. Just because they didn't attend college or university doesn't mean that they don't want you to succeed or you to go. The third barrier is relocation. 60% of rural students do not want to relocate more than 100 kilometers away from their home. You should look at your community colleges or apprenticeships in your immediate area if this is a concern for you. There are some great options out there. All you need to do is look. The fourth barrier that students may face is that they feel they don't need a post-secondary. 66% of all new jobs in the coming decade will require some sort of post-secondary, whether this is a degree, a diploma, or an apprenticeship, but some sort of education will be required. The fifth barrier is lack of good grades. You don't need straight A's to get into school. In fact, many schools are now putting emphasis on extracurriculars and community involvement in their applications instead of strictly grades. And the final barrier is financial barriers. Trust me, I know, school is expensive, but there are many options out there. In Ontario, we have the Ontario Student Assistance Program to help fund your education. And you can also apply for student lines of credits from banks or credit unions, as well as scholarships, bursaries, or get a job on campus. It is possible to do. The personal story I'm going to share with you today is not mine. However, it is a very common story. The individual I'll be speaking about grew up in a very low-income household. She didn't have a lot of money growing up. Her parents didn't attend university or college, and they really struggled financially. She had a baby when she was 17, which created its own set of barriers. Her financial obligations were now strictly on her daughter, and she couldn't move to another city because she already had a support system in place here. She also had no idea what she wanted to do. She was living paycheck to paycheck and really struggling to find some sort of motivation and purpose in life apart from her child. She also didn't think that she needed to get a post-secondary education. She figured that she would just get a career with a high school education and that eventually her big break would come along and that everything would work out. So, for about 6 years, she continuously switched jobs. Again, living paycheck to paycheck, really struggling. Finally, by luck, she got a job with Corrections Canada. However, it was only a casual contract, so you can only work a certain number of days in a calendar year. This was a great paying job, and she wished she could stay pretty much forever. So she started applying for other governmental jobs. However, none of them would even consider her or look at her application. She had no formal education past high school, and they were looking for a degree or diploma in a very specific area. So, almost 10 years after she graduated high school, she returned to St. Lawrence College and enrolled in the accounting diploma program. She decided to go to a school within 40 kilometers of her house, and she spoke to many people at the college about her finances and was accepted for an OSAP loan. She also found out where she could get subsidized childcare in the city so that her daughters would be well taken care of while she was studying. 3 years later, she graduated almost top of her class from the accounting diploma and decided to return to school to really pursue one of her passions, carpentry. 1 year later, she graduated from the carpentry program and was valedictorian. She then started her own successful carpentry business and now employs 8 people in the Kingston area. Post-secondary made all of the difference for her. She had her own personal hurdles to face, and she did. However, she had the motivation to succeed in life and create a better life for herself and her daughters. So, if she can do it, so can you. My name is Kate Armstrong, and I am one of the co-leads for the Manage Your Money program at Enactus St. Lawrence College in Kingston, Ontario. Today, we've been discussing the importance of post-secondary and why you should go get it. Thanks so much.